Well, it's definitely time for an update, I think. I've done quite a few car tests and reviews and researching now, so I'm getting pretty close to knowing exactly what I'm doing. So, in summary, where are we? Well, in no particular order, the Zoe. The Zoe was just what I thought it was. It was a smaller, less quality car, and although with all the discounts you can get, it comes down to quite a reasonably priced electric car. It's expensive for a car, but for an electric car it's not too bad. But list price is just absolutely ridiculous. And with that in mind, there are quite a few electric cars where the pricing just seems OTT. The Bmw i3, just too much money for what it is. And it's a bit Marmite. Some people love it and some people don't. I didn't think it looked uber cool. I thought it was a bit of a shopping trolley, and the interior was very nice, I'll grant it that, but it wasn't a comfortable drive, especially for passengers. So the Zoe's out on the size and the luxury, the i3's out on the cost and also its ride, which didn't suit us as a family. Where does that leave us? The Leaf. Well, the Leaf's so interesting, isn't it? Because I started saying no to the Leaf right at the very beginning, but the more I compare to the other cars, the Leaf is the better car. I mean, if you compare the Leaf to the i3, I'd have the Leaf. If you compare the Zoe to the Leaf, I'd have the Leaf. If you compare the Leaf to the Ioniq, I'd have the Ioniq. The Leaf is overpriced at the top end, and its quality and luxury and comfort aren't sufficient. With the poorer quality interior compared to a Hyundai or a Golf, the Leaf was a no to me. It's quite a practical car in size, so I can see why it's so popular, and popular it definitely is. I mean, if you haven't realised already, most people watching my videos and watching the EV videos that are around, it's a huge Leaf community. They're either pro-Leaf, thinking of a Leaf, got a Leaf. It is a major car in the UK especially. Most electric car owners are Leaf owners, but is that going to change? In a few years when Tesla are out, will there be more Teslas? Probably not, because they're more expensive. So it's Hyundai. Will Hyundai take over? And I've got to say, unless Nissan does something on its quality and picks up its game on the car generally, I think they will. I think Volkswagen and Hyundai will take over if they get the pricing right. So although the Nissan Leafs are really popular now, my gut feel is basically what I've seen, that the better car is the Volkswagen and the Hyundai. So with that in mind, where does that leave me with the Golf? Well, the Golf just suits me perfectly. It's the right size, the boot's okay, the shape's alright. Every review says it drives like a Golf, so that's brilliant. And the price is in the ballpark that I'm happy to pay for an electric car. The Golf and the Ioniq let me down in the respect of the worst case scenario for the range, and that's the cold winter's days where you need to go somewhere in a hurry and you can't go slow. Then we're only talking 90, 100, 110 miles of range, and that's that uncomfortable feeling of still being in a technology level where you feel like you're an early adopter and you have to compromise what you do and how you do it because you've got into the electric cars early. So yeah, the Golf, the only compromise is that range in worst case scenarios. In most scenarios it's absolutely fine, and I know there will be a lot of people that love the Golf and have the Golf and think it's perfect because it suits their requirements. Well, that's exactly it. Everyone's requirements for range are different depending on what your daily driving is. For me, I know 80, 90, 95% of my driving would be perfect in even one of the first generation Leafs from a range point of view. But it's those extra trips that you do that you just want the convenience of being able to get in the car and go and not worry about how to fill up, how to charge. So for me, to get the perfect car, I need just a little bit more. And that also leads me on to the technology levels. If I go for the Golf and the Ioniq, which everything was pointing towards the Golf or the Ioniq was what I wanted, then I've got to wait so long for the car. It's 6 months at least for the Ioniq, if not 9 now, and it's definitely 6 to 9 for the Golf. So by the time another 6 to 9 months has gone past, who knows what else will have come to the market, and that technology will seem old. For a smaller battery in the Golf with that smaller range, it's going to be less desirable in the future, and it's going to be less practical. So it's not future proofing. So if I'm buying a car for the next 4, 5, 6 years, which is my aim, the thing that puts me off the Golf and the Ioniq, the only thing is really the future proofing. The Ioniq though, the boot. I know, am I buying the car for me or am I buying it for the dog? But most things that I put in the boot would benefit from a higher amount of space in that boot. So capacity's fine, but the angle of that boot lid really puts me off because it's not very practical. The other thing with the Ioniq is it looks like a rep's car. It just looks like a salesman's car in its shape, so I wouldn't be as proud of it on the driveway as the Golf. So I started to go off the Ioniq and more towards the Golf was what I wanted to buy. But maybe the Kona will be actually produced and built and in the country sooner than you could get a Golf. So if that's real, why would I choose a Golf over a Kona? What is there about a Golf that is better than the Kona? So there's less range, there's less performance, there's equal sort of boot space, there's equal sort of room, the cars just look different, so you've got the badge image I suppose and the comfortable image that you're used to, but other than that there's not a lot of difference between them. Price wise, well, we don't know, do we? We don't know what the price is going to be of the Kona. If you look at the optimist's view, then there will be 2 versions of the Kona, not just in battery size but spec level. So after the UK incentives you could be talking £25,000. But if you're a pessimist and think it's worst case scenario, then you're probably talking a £40,000 Kona with the 4,500 reduction for the UK grant, so you're down to spending £35,000. So you're somewhere in the region of 25 to 35, depending on whether you're pessimistic or optimistic about what the price is. And that's either cheaper than a Golf, EGolf, or it's more expensive. So that's where I am. That's my summary so far. I know the cars that I don't want. I really am sad to say I don't want the Ioniq because of the boot space, because the Ioniq is the perfect, efficient electric car for me. Just that little bit of range issue, but mostly the boot space. The Golf is probably right now, on what's available now, the perfect car for me. And if there weren't the production order issues, there's a really good chance I might have ordered one and bought one already. For the discounts that I saw on CarWow, getting a really well spec'd one with leather interior for 29k was a very, very good deal in my mind. So the Golf would have been a viable option, especially if you knew they were going to continue the Golf in the next model range. But there you go. That's where we are. No Zoe, no Ioniq, no Leaf, no i3, and yeah, if I say no EGolf, then what does that leave me with? Looks like I might be buying a Hyundai Kona. So there you go, that's my summary and update so far. Things might change over the next few days and weeks. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure where to go next. I'm going to do some more research onto the Kona to be sure. And I'm still trying to get a test drive in the EGolf. But that's where we are now. Thank you for watching. For all of those that haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the subscribe button. It helps me know how many people are really interested in these videos. It is really encouraging to see how many people are enjoying them. Yes, I'm a boring old git. Yes, I'm just an ordinary folk. I'm not into my technology yet. If this channel takes off and gets really popular, then I will invest in the right audio and visual equipment, and I will increase the quality as much as I can. But for the moment, this is just amateur, this is just my opinions, and this is my journey. And leading on from that, from my journey, what comes next? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about whether I continue and how I continue with sharing my EV experience once I actually get an EV car. So, until the next update, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.